All right. Well, Eric's freaking out.
I'm. You want me to just shit on this the first 2 seconds of the
Yeah,
episode?
this is the dumbest thing you've ever done.
Oh man. So I'm trying to look at this with like.
What are we talking about?
This detox, like right. This is like a detox update. We're 3 or 4 days in now. And I've gone full
By
throttle.
the time people hear this, they'll be like a week and a half in, right?
Yeah.
No, something like that.
11 days in?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
11 days
hearing
in.
Eric like 3 days in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, so I went pretty full
Might
throttle.
not make it.
I went no internet for 3 days. I went no phone, basically. Like, I got text messages from you guys, but I'm going like full monk for the first 3 days. It like also there's external factors.
I commend your commitment.
It's been raining, so I can't like go outside too much. Like that kind of sucks. But being indoors and not having access to things that I enjoy doing when I'm indoors fucking sucks. And like, I think objectively, I'm looking at this objectively because I think there's part of me that says like, oh, this is really good for you, right? Because like you're doing this with intention. Like part of me wants to believe that it's worth it. But when I'm going through it, I feel less productive at work and I'm having less joy at play. So like this whole thing to me just feels pretty shitty. Like, and I feel
So
like it's like rewardless.
That's subjective.
It's rewardless?
Yeah, this
Wow.
thing feels rewardless.
Almost
to me.
Wait,
as though...
is there any part of it that feels rewarding?
The part that has been good, but also kind of bad. I've been sleeping like a baby. So like with nothing to do indoors, I read for like 8 hours. I got into bed at like 6 p.m. and by 8 p.m. I was fast asleep. And I woke up at 5. So like I'm sleeping like a baby, but I'm not like feeling like I'm well rested and energized. I'm like, where the fuck's my coffee still? And I don't have that. And then, going through work
You
stuff.
have nothing to do.
So I mean, at work stuff, it's actually awful because there's these tasks I need to get done, like menial tasks, and coffee would get me through it.
Yeah.
And with no coffee, I'm like, one page, I'm like, fuck, okay, next page. Like, it just sucks. Like, all I'm just saying is that this whole thing, like, you might be feeling like, oh, I'm a human being again. I feel like shit.
That's so good.
What do you think about what Eric just said there?
I think it's really clear, like to me. I think those are his subjective feelings. That's not objectively true. I think
I'm objectively less productive at work and objectively having less fun
that's
at play.
literally
Well,
subjective.
what I'm most curious about is
That's
that will that
subjective.
change over the next? We have 8 more days.
It's
the
your
4th.
experience. This is the first 3 days. It's very hard, right? So you have nothing to do. You aren't able to do the things you want to do, and all those things suck. And it's been raining in San Diego, which is super rare. And you're sitting at home. And I think that arguably, like everyone's experience with dopamine is very different. So I think that you are having an experience that ultimately, even in the end, all of us will have a very different experience. We won't all walk away being like, that was net positive or net negative, or I'm going to change this or I'm change that. But in general, like the things you're experiencing are super normal. Like there's nothing abnormal about what you're experiencing. I would say you're experiencing everything you're supposed to experience.
Other than I would be having much more fun if I was doing the things I want to do, and I'd be much more productive at work if I was doing the things I would in the ways that I would normally do them.
Okay, but
That's
this
the
is
point.
no different than you like I'm going to use an extreme example. Imagine you are addicted to meth. And you literally cannot get your work done without meth. And we were like, Eric, you got to lay off the meth for like at least 14 days. And you're like, fine, I'm going to do it. And then day 3, you're like, this sucks. I can't get any work done because I don't have my meth to get my work done. We're like,
Yeah.
yes, the point
We're
isn't
all
for you to
addicts.
enjoy these 3 days. It's to hopefully get to like a better end state. Like
This sucks. It's gonna suck. It's supposed to suck.
I don't think it's like the normal state for humans to wake up in the morning after sleeping and be like, I can't do anything until I have like a jolt my body full of
Well,
stimulants.
like, let's just talk about that example. Like the inability to do something during these first 3 days absolutely makes sense to me. It's like I had a pounding headache the first couple days because I've been drinking coffee for 18 years straight, literally every single day, except one break that I had. And that was like one-time thing. And I was like, I went right back to it. So like huge headaches, huge withdrawal from this drug, tons of side effects. And then I'm trying to work and I can't get it done at the speed and the level that I could before. I'm not as focused as I was. I mean, that makes complete sense. I'm coming down off a drug like that I'm handicapped off of. Like I just can't accomplish anything without caffeine. Makes sense. So it's going to take time for that drug to sort of withdraw from my body to reset, to find a new homeostasis, to stabilize, and then to understand how to be productive without this like outside force. And I think there are other forces that would actually, once my body goes into a sort of calmer, more homeostatic state, like what would happen? Just having a little sea salt would give me energy probably, because my body is now sensitive again, like back at like a normal baseline level, which is what a lot of people do, by the way. You wake up, pound some sea salt, water, good to go. Like your whole body feels like electricity is flowing through it. It's amazing. Or like maybe I switch to having like in the future, I'm already planning like, okay, this has sucked. But like, what if I just start drinking like white tea, green tea, or like decaf coffee for that second coffee instead of having 2 coffees a day? Maybe I'm having too much caffeine. For me, I think that's what I'm realizing. I'm like, if my body's reacting this way, this severely, that means I'm having too much coffee. So
Okay, so coffee is a good example. I like that, and I agree with you that it's good to cut out things. Like I like cutting out booze. I like cutting out nicotine. I like cutting out coffee. There's a moment. So we celebrated New Year's together. Nick was in the mountains, but we celebrated New Year's together. And the following morning, when I woke up, I was excited to watch Premier League soccer. I was like, "Oh, cool! This is what I want to do." And then I was like, "Oh no, day one of detox."
No TV.
So instead, I sat there and read a book, and I had less fun than I would have if I was watching Premier League soccer. And that is just like lame. Like I didn't get anything more productive done, or like it wasn't like a net benefit. It was just like, this is a lamer version of fun.
I think Eric still thinks that the fast is supposed to be fun.
yeah.
No, I'm trying to think that this thing is supposed
He's
to be a
having
net
trouble with
benefit,
ROI.
and I'm getting negative results.
You're wanting the benefit during the process.
I just
You're
don't-
wanting the
like,
benefit now.
I don't think that some of this stuff is on par with cutting out caffeine. Like not watching Premier League soccer, I don't think is like the same drug stimulant that I need. You know, like I think that would just be fine to watch in the morning.
Well, I mean, it's like the conversation we had on New Year's Eve, right? We were discussing like the dopamine actual, like this is meant to be a, what was the fucking hour-long debate we were having about, it was Jocko's video that we did an episode on, right? So, Jesus. So that was the whole thing. It was like, it's not this or that. It's earning the dopamine, right? So like maybe in the past you would have just woken up, easy, I earned this, and you take it. But it's just this drug, and it's just like the ability to sit back and watch sports and relax, but you haven't actually done something to tell your body or your mind, like, this is something that I've earned. This is a reward, because the rewards are everywhere. The rewards are constantly everywhere, and we're so rewarded out all over the place that we don't even know what it is to feel the desire for reward, because desire equals I got it, like immediate gratification in every single way. You don't have to earn anything in life anymore. I think that's the point of the detox. I'm going to teach myself to get back to a baseline where when I do something that gives me dopamine, it's because I've earned it, and I don't just get it, straight line to the vein at any time that I want. I mean, that is the point of this, right?
Yes, this is like you ever go like watch like a beautiful sunset on Sunset Cliffs, and most people are sitting there like, wow. But then like once in a while, there's this like 5-year-old kid who's just like screaming because like he can't like have his phone and like watch YouTube for like 7 seconds. And that's like the extreme version of it. Like his brain is just so wired to get that hit from this thing that like the basic pleasures of life that forever were like enough for us, that like kept us going, are now like there's like no response to them. So he needs like a bigger drug, and there's no other way of like resetting that other than just by like resetting it for a bit, just going to zero for a bit and just bringing it down, right?
And obviously that kid is going to hate it, because he's like, wait a second, on the one hand I had my iPad with all these games on it, and now I have to stare at a fucking sunset, which is very similar to what Eric is saying. He's like, wait, on the one hand I had the ability to wake up, watch English Premier League, now I have to stare at a wall with no internet.
So I think these are two different things, actually, because on the one hand, you're saying earn the dopamine, and on the other hand, you're saying no dopamine. So I think like if I were to do a different type of test where I was going to earn my dopamine, I would say something like, hey, you got to go do an hour's worth of work, or you got to go to the gym before you watch English Premier League. Not don't watch it, stare at a wall instead.
No, you're thinking about two different things. What you're saying is a good way to lead your life in general
After this.
after this, right? Like we want to go back to a life where we do things that are stimulating and that like kind of like excite us for a bit. But we want to figure out how to manage that as humans so we don't become like slaves to this like easy dopamine. Like I had a very different experience than you my first day. Like I woke up and I felt like really free in a way. I was like, oh, I can't check my phone. I can't lie in bed and scroll Twitter for like 2 hours because like I'm gonna miss something. Something happened and I don't know what it is. And it's like this is gonna be the thing that makes me like all this money and I missed it because I didn't scroll for 2 hours in Twitter in bed. So that was gone and I just got out of bed and I walked out and I couldn't do anything. And like my immediate thing was like, oh, like I immediately felt free to just do some stuff that I like kind of wanted to do, but like I don't know, I felt like I've been really drawn to the social media has been like a big thing, and like there's like a couple like games I got like kind of like addicted to on the iPad that are kind of like intellectual in nature, but they're still like traps, right? Yeah, I just like immediately went over to the piano. I learned like this song that I've been meaning to finish for like literally months. I just knocked it out the first day.
Is it the song I want?
No.
How far down the list is that song? Because I'll literally pay you to bring it at the top of the list.
I just need to be reminded of it. I'm just like a creature
I
of habit.
might have texted you about this 3 or 4 times.
Right, but it was like six seconds later, it's out of my brain. Like
Okay,
my brain is
I'm
still.
gonna put a sign next to your piano.
No, that would be very helpful, actually.
Okay. If you're wondering, it's a Ludovico Einaudi song, and it's like my favorite one. And he hasn't played this one yet. He hasn't learned this one yet.
There's Ludovico you don't know.
Oh yeah, this is a Godi Ludovico song. I had a very similar experience to you, man. Like, I feel amazing. I mean, like, I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying that I can't have a glass of wine at the end of a very long workday. I'm not enjoying that I don't get to have a cigar this Wednesday when we go out. I'm not enjoying so many things about this. And we should talk about the things we're adding, by the way, into our lives, like not just the things that we're cutting, because I know you guys are adding I know Eric's doing some really cool diet things. I know you are too, Nick. But like for me, it was similar. It's like if you think about our normal workday, you're sitting there trying to get work done, and there's 1,000 things happening at once, no matter how much you try to safeguard yourself, right? Like you've got Discord open, you're scrolling through Twitter, your phone is going off with notifications, your computer is going off with notifications, your Slack is going off, the WhatsApp messages. I mean, that list, by the way, I could do it until you get nauseous, right? And that's a normal day. But just simply being off social media for me, the only bad experience I've had in this whole like 4 days, what is today, by the way? Yeah, the 4th, was the moment that I spent on Twitter. Something fucking triggered me and I saw some stuff and wanted to get into it. And I was just like, all of a sudden my day started unraveling. It got in my head. I took the thing personally. And then I was like, wait a second. Oh my God, this was like my default state all the time. And my body's like having like a convulsion to this, like get away from it. And I couldn't get away from it. And I wanted to write something and I couldn't write. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what normal used to be like. And that's why I texted you guys and said, like, I feel like a normal human being now. I feel like, I think I didn't say normal because normal could be looked at both ways, could be looked at normal, the irony of the whole thing. I feel like a human being. My natural state is not to have access to all this dopamine all the time. I expect this to be very hard. I expect this to be boring. I expect to feel intense tugs and desires toward a lot of things that I used to get freely and openly, and I believed make me better or make my life better somehow. But the reality is, for me, I'm learning that they don't. And I think by like day 7 to 10, I'm going to learn what are the things that I know I want to keep from this detox. What are the things that I'll find a balanced approach for keeping? So like if I'm off Discord for the most part right now, which is one of my favorite things, I'm like, okay, I'm giving myself 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. Well, what will I do? Maybe in the future, what I'll do is I just won't have it on my phone. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll actually keep this time limit and I'll increase the time limit to 30 minutes a day. And I'll really hold myself to that. Or one decision I've already made, there's no way I'm getting back on Instagram. It's not happening.
Oh, I would never log into Instagram anyways,
Dude.
but like having that off my phone is like,
Oh.
it's just kind of nice that you don't even have to think about it.
garbage.
Missed
I
It's the
don't
missed it
want it on my
0%.
0%, dude.
Zero.
0%. And I used to have these excuses. I make these videos, or I want to share the Alfalfa videos, or I want to put things in my. Who the fuck cares? My life is getting ruined. Like literally, it is bad. It's bad. And I would say Twitter's the same. There's no reason why I can't access Twitter and Instagram on a desktop computer when I need to and want to, when it's my intention is to take the time to digest my AI list of people I follow, my crypto list of people I follow right now for 30 minutes. I'm going to do it. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to bookmark stuff. And I have like a cool system for this too already. Like where I see an article I like, I put it into Matter, which is my favorite reading app. Put it into Matter, then I send it to my Kindle, and then it's amazing. At the end of the night, I've earned it. I open up my Kindle, I have my essays and articles that I want to read on there with no distractions. You can't do shit on a Kindle other than read something. And that's how I fall asleep at night. And I try to read fiction, by the way, at night, but like, that's what I mean. If I wanted to reward myself, I don't need to scroll Twitter or Instagram all day to do that. I can go in, be intentional, find the things I want, put them into my system, compartmentalize, and keep it tight and tidy. That's the way I plan to do things going forward.
Yeah, me too. I think that's very good, and I'll implement that too. Like the social media thing was never a problem for me. That was never an issue.
You're more upset about the other stuff. Yeah.
I'm mostly upset just about the like what you guys would consider fun. Like you like reading more than I do. Like this to me has just kind of sucked. I did it for 8 hours. Like
Were they 10Ks or what'd you read?
no, I read fiction.
Oh,
I read a Dan Brown novel.
Okay.
Like, it was a light read. It was
that
like,
Da Vinci Code guy?
yeah.
Yep.
I read one of those books and it's like kind of fun. It's like you're watching a show almost. It's
Was it
Yeah.
good? I never read it.
I was reading one called, it's like the 5th one in the series. I don't know.
they
what
didn't
it
make
is.
a movie about it yet.
I don't think so. But like, I feel like it was like kind of like a lamer version of what I would actually do for fun. But I was like, okay, well, at least this is like somewhat there.
Well, I've also been very busy with work, so it's been good for me in that way. Like I'm getting like like Nick and I were at the office. Nick beat me last night. It was like 7:30. I went home. He was still there. It's like the previous night I was there till 7 again. It's like
Why go home? I mean,
I
was
love
like,
it.
I'm like,
Like-
what am I going to go home to? I mean, like, I'm going to go home and cook dinner, which I could do a little later. I'm not going to watch any TV. I'm not
Makes
going to
it
be on my phone.
so
like,
much easier to work.
oh yeah.
yeah.
Like
No,
I
I'm
did
the
a
opposite.
whole bunch of stuff that I like had been procrastinating on forever because like I couldn't just get like the little I'm just gonna play this whole I'm just gonna scroll Twitter for a little bit. Like you're just like I may as well do this thing.
I agree with Eric. The lack of caffeine sucks. It doesn't give me
Like-
the energy I need to break through the wall to get shit done.
That's it. And I know
but that will go away.
I have the stack there, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And then I get through like this much of the stack, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit down for a second. Like it just sucks.
What do you think, Nick? Like, how's it been for you?
It's been a lot quieter and slower and less intense.
Yes, doesn't it feel like the days are like longer?
And yes. And
But like in a good way.
But yeah, I agree. It's much quieter in our house because my girlfriend has kept the TV off thus far. I don't think that's gonna slide
That's
much
nice
longer.
of her. I just have to exit the living room.
Yeah, so there's
Like,
been
this is illegal. I can't
zero like noise in the house, which is really nice, and I think she has enjoyed it, so far. But I think the TV's gonna come back on.
You guys built a puzzle.
Oh yeah. We finished off a puzzle. That was great.
very high quality time.
Yeah, it was. I like the puzzles.
The man did a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
We did it together.
You should tell her that my lady is respecting me and not watching TV at all around me.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, so is Yessie. So I think she's so far.
Does
start
that
a
make
fight.
Erica just super disrespectful?
Yeah, I'm trying to
She's very
start.
pregnant. So I think she deserves a pass.
My goal here is to
The
just start
level
some
of
shit for episode
disrespect. Oh man, I'm gonna clip this for you, babe.
I've been thinking about, on one hand, I'm consuming a lot less information, and it feels like a seesaw of like, I could consume more information, but probably have less clarity just throughout the day of like where I kind of fall on things, and I'm trying to think of which is better for better decision making. Is it less information and higher clarity, even though you might miss some edge or some really important thing that happened? It's probably a balance in between.
What would you consider so important? What is the edge? Are the edges really real?
Is the clarity really real?
Oh, here we go.
The clarity feels
Yes,
real. The
I
clarity
feel
feels
The clarity is so real.
much clearer.
The clarity is so
and
real.
it's hard to not
because you're not making 9 decisions at once.
Yeah,
You're
and
making
I've
one.
really realized so when I went to work Monday, I immediately was like, actually no, I went to work on Tuesday, not Monday, but that was immediately like again, and I was like, oh god, like my whole existence actually sucked because I was
Holy shit, Ziggy. That scared the,
the dog
shit.
at you,
You know, yeah.
He nuzzle you.
Licked me without me. I didn't know what it was. Please continue.
But no, I do. I just feel like clear. And I was like looking while I was working for the pod today. I was like, oh man, I gotta like reorganize all this stuff. I like saw like all the clutter I had, and it's like, oh yeah, my whole process for gathering and parsing information is so bad. It's just always on, always gathering, always like, I have like 900,000 things in like the inbox that I never go through, the bookmarks that I never read. I'm just
Exactly.
like, oh, I gotta catalog that for later. But all I'm ever do is like searching. I'm always like hunting, and I never like actually like eat the
You've
animal
already
or
done
do
the
anything.
work.
Yeah,
It's all there. Like, you don't need more edge.
Yeah.
You know?
I
but it's
think
a compulsion.
We probably,
You're right.
yeah, it is a compulsion. I think we absorb enough information, but I've used the extra time to like spend more time in my investment spreadsheet and my goal spreadsheet, just like relooking at how did I write this out? Can I make this clearer? Can I think about all the things that could go wrong in attaining these goals? And can I get better clarity on like what the priority should be? This is for business and personal. And I don't know. I found that time very useful. I enjoy kind of just sitting there and playing through scenarios.
Yeah,
and
man.
It makes me feel a little more confident about like my thesis and what I want to do and spend my time on. And so that's been enjoyable so far.
I can't believe how clear I feel. That's the craziest part. So when I did Sober October, just cutting out alcohol blew me away how much it affected my brain, literally. Like, and by that I mean more so my mind, my emotional state, regulation, and probably even more sort of clearly and presently was my ability to think clearly. Like, I didn't know there was any fog. There was fog because my baseline improved. Something changed as a result of just cutting alcohol, right? My mind just became more clear. My ability to think, not need to be so compulsive and look at 9 things at once, everything just kind of calmed down. Now with this, we're too early. It's only 3 days in. I would predict by day 7, though, by day 10, like the level of clarity and peace of mind that you'll feel is going to be remarkable if we keep this up. Because it's not just the lack of alcohol that I already did, but the additive positive things that you guys are doing, cold showers and eating a certain amount of calories and improving your diet. I'm doing early rising, which is making like a fundamental difference. I can talk about that. But also just cutting out, I didn't cut out any dopamine. I didn't cut out anything. I was still doing everything else. We were going to bars. I wasn't drinking. We were doing it all. So this is going to be profoundly different.
I found something interesting that when you have to abstain from things, whether it's opening the Twitter app or coffee or nicotine or whatever it is, like you have to observe your feelings over a longer period of time. Because usually, like, I want to open up Twitter, and you just open it, and you don't observe the fact that you had your body reached for something, and you just gave it immediately. But like when you observe it, all these things have a pattern in common, which it reaches a quick peak, and that's usually when you give your body what it wants, and then it cycles away. And I think the most illuminating part is that it always cycles away. Whether you want a cup of coffee right now, like whether it's 3 minutes or 30 minutes, it does go back and you like completely forget about it. I think it's really powerful to like be able to observe that most things that you want, they have this like cyclical movement, organic
Dude, it's
movement.
super interesting.
Yeah,
And,
unless you've been sitting here recording a podcast, staring at a wall of booze for the last.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, you're triggered. Triggered one.
Can I
It's
say
very
something
hard.
honestly? I mean this like sincerely, and this is not performative. Like I mean this sincerely. I feel awful. Like my like this clarity you speak of. I have fog. I have like it just everything's bad. Like everything you're saying that you're getting good, mine's bad.
You sound like you're really addicted.
You
to
sound like
caffeine.
you're suffering.
I
You're
just
really
am not
suffering.
like nothing is going well. Like,
Wait.
But don't you think this is a sign that there is
That
something
you need more
to
of this,
purge?
or
I'm just a bad version of myself. So like I don't know if that's like more is better. Like is that better? Like
I don't know.
I don't think so.
If
Don't
you
you
had-
think that like dependencies in general are like not good?
Yes.
Can I ask you? Do you think you're compartmentalizing the enjoyment factor of it?
That's part of
separate?
it. That's
But
part
like
of
if
it.
You, if you suction that off,
Yeah,
yeah.
just like even just straight
Still
work
bad.
stuff. Like I can't focus. I'm just not motivated. I just am performing poorly.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
Well,
also you're also on day 4. Like they recommend doing this for like 90 days.
fuck
What?
no.
12 is like the minimum. 12 is like the
Really?
bare minimum.
I don't think
That's
I
what
would get
had you
anything
guys
done.
do.
Like
can you send like the breakdown of like I need to see like a dopamine detox matrix?
yeah, I mean, there's
like
not
what
like an
to cut, the
official
levels.
like,
I'm sure somebody
American
made
Medical
one, though.
Association. Yeah, people have versions of them.
I would like to see like what level 2 is. I'm ready for level 2.
like I came in here ready. I came in here ready to like tell you guys that I'm done doing this because it's like not
Oh, are you-
it's like not serving me.
is the flag being lifted?
but
No,
you can't
I'm willing
possibly
to-
know if it's not serving
I'm willing
you until
to
you do it.
I'm willing to do it to the commitment that I made, but like I just want to let you guys know that like this is not serving me and I don't like it. I'm
We
like,
need one of those Jack Butcher like designs where it's like benefit below par, and then later on it comes up
Like,
after.
I feel like the very fact that you think that on like day 4 you're supposed to be like feeling good and getting something positive out of it is like evidence of like just how chronic like you seem like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and when I don't do it, it sucks, and I don't want to do this at all anymore because I don't feel good. Like it just feels like you do have some compulsions or like addictions, whatever they may be. That
We all
like,
do.
Yeah, I mean, like I sure as fuck do.
I cried out for coffee 3 times
couple
today in the
things.
office.
Couple things. Like one, I commend you for doing it when you hate something so much. And if you want to quit,
it's not a hate. It's just like I'm worse. Like
Yeah.
I want to be the best
Yeah.
version of myself.
it
and
sucks that you're suffering.
I feel like I'm getting worse. It's not even a suffer. It's just like I'm getting worse. That's not good.
So you're
you
getting
go-
worse because you're going through withdrawals.
No, like my performance as an individual is not.
But your
Going up.
performance is a symptom of withdrawals, is it not?
But wait, hold on.
I
What
don't know.
performance?
Like-
what performance?
Work, just
Why
clarity,
can't you work?
thought,
Because of
like-
coffee?
no, just like I'm just not doing well. Like
But
I mean, we all would be
Why?
in that boat. Like I talked about how I can't get shit done to the same level.
that's what I mean.
but it's but he's like,
But I
it's
agree.
coffee.
Yeah, it's just a lack of caffeine.
Can I ask a clarifying question about our experiment?
Yes.
In regards to coffee,
Of course.
Can I have decaf coffee?
This is a good question.
That is a good question, actually.
Because your brain could get fooled with the smell, the temperature, the taste that it is receiving dopamine, but there is no caffeine in it.
Yeah, caffeine is only half of the reason I drink coffee. The other part is the love for
Oh,
coffee.
see, I'm doing it just for the.
I do it for the caffeine, but I think there's also like this performative thing for me where I realize once I'm drinking it, it's like, oh, now it's like work time and now you're going to go get shit done. It's like Pavlovian in a way.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I ordered
I think,
decaf pods, and I want to know if
Okay.
can I drink them.
I think in our basic bitch detox, it's fine. But if you were gonna do like the hardcore one, I would say it's not because like there's like some habit loop impulsive thing there.
Definitely.
And like
Right.
when you're going like really hardcore, you're trying to purge yourself like of not just like the dopamine stuff, but like just the whole habit loop entirely. And I feel like if you just insert like a substitute thing in for a bit, there's still an element of it
The
there. and you're not
physiological
really-
part is interesting because like
Yeah.
I think I texted you guys. I find myself opening my phone and scrolling through pages of
yeah.
apps and
We haven't
not
talked about
entering
this.
one. There's like a physiological thing where my body goes on
I did the
autopilot.
same
That was the
thing
first
too,
2 days. First
until-
48
I'm
hours.
still doing it.
What
You
really
are?
helped,
Yeah.
by the way, was whoever in the Discord reminded me that like setting your phone to grayscale is a thing was like
It was Jordan.
life changing.
Yeah.
Jordan. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jordan. I mean, like I like literally look at my phone now, and my brain goes ew, and I just like put it back, and it's
Yep.
it's so good. And I think what I'm kind of doing what you did, but not exactly. So like I like to drink wine before I go to bed, like all the time. Not a great habit. Love doing it. Makes me feel great. I'm all wound up or whatever. I substituted the wine for something else, not like non-alcoholic wine, but I found this like mushroom reishi hot cocoa
Cool.
from like Four Sigmatic makes it, and it's just like kind of like very low sugar, like dark chocolate, hot chocolate with like reishi, which supposedly helps you go to sleep. And I just started doing that before I went to bed, And like my brain was fine. It's like, oh, you're kind of doing the thing. I'm still in the loop.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of okay.
The one thing I was worried the most about, which has been easier, is like not having something to sleep to, like audio wise. Like you got us that gift, which I used until New Year's Eve night. Is amazing. It's like a little
Yeah.
what do you call it? Like a sleep headband. That
Headband.
has, cushioned earphones
Bluetooth
in it.
earphones,
yeah, so you can listen to something while you fall asleep.
For the true addict, yes.
For the true addict, exactly. I was like, wow, this
His
is
good
made-
friend supporting the addiction.
made for me, you enabler. But I was worried about not being able to fall asleep with it, so I've been meditating every night just right before bed, and it's not been an issue because I have time, that scrolling time would probably be it's getting replaced with meditation, and mind is quieter before I go to bed. Fall asleep like a baby now.
Yeah.
So
The more
like
resistance
you can
I
replace it
feel,
with other stuff, like you're saying.
I mean, I want to go to Eric's thing because I think what Eric is going through is super interesting. And by the way, so first of all, commend you for sharing that. If you want to tap out, by all means, tap out. But I commend you for sticking it through. The more resistance I feel, the more I step into it harder. So everything that you're describing is also what I feel, but I just have sort of, I think, tweaked my mindset around it to say that's good. Kind of like when I lift a heavy weight or I'm sore and I'm like, this sucks. It doesn't feel good. I can think of other examples, but like it's a pain and it doesn't feel good. And I'm definitely not a better version of myself today, but I keep telling myself that this is good for me and that in the end it'll be better.
And that's
I
what
think
I'm
is
wondering.
where I'm at.
I think that thank you for sharing that, because that's what I'm literally sitting here wondering myself. It's like, am I just telling myself that I'm going to be better even though I'm worse?
You kind of have to in this
Right.
situation because again, like back to the meth withdrawals, like you're going to tell yourself because you're addicted, I'm such a better person when I'm on meth. Like I get everything done. I'm happy. I clean the room, you know,
yeah.
like everyone who has an addiction goes, no, I don't have a problem. Right? No, I don't have a problem. Don't tell me I have a problem.
The better analogy was like the eye banker who just kind of gets used to doing coke in the bathroom, like in the middle of the day, and then generally he does it 3 times a day, and then pretty soon he's like, I suck without my cocaine in the bathroom. I can't get any work done.
Yeah.
And so obviously that person not doing that is gonna hate it and suck. But the other thing too is I think mindset, like maybe the reason I'm enjoying and looking at it this way personally more is because going into it, I was excited and like I wanted to do it, even though it was almost like an embracing the suck kind of mentality. I think I just forced myself to be like, this is gonna be awesome, even though I know it sucks. So I think there is a lot of that going on, is like what is the story we tell ourselves about this, because that's probably going to dictate the experience for a huge part of it.
Are we gonna so this is a day 4 into it, so we're gonna wait till this is done and then do like a full recap on it? Are we gonna touch on this again?
I don't know, should we? Because it takes a while for these life episodes to come out.
I don't know if we feel like some new stuff happened next week. We do a little quick pop in.
We definitely should.
I don't want to do
check in
another.
on-
I don't wanna do like a
check-in,
full-
but after the fact, like maybe a
Yeah.
week after.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
done.
want to do
Okay,
a
yeah,
recap,
yeah.
and I want to do like a kind of moving forward
Maintenance mode.
Yeah.
'cause I
Are
don't
there
wanna-
takeaways?
Yeah.
What was this all just stupid? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm
Maybe
lying
put
to
it on
myself
top.
and we'll change our
I'm
minds.
not curious
Yeah.
about what we're all say we're gonna keep. I'm curious, like 7 to 14 days after the end of it, what do we
Yes.
actually?
We're gonna have an accountability show like
not
60
accountability,
days
just like
from now.
that's
Integration.
more useful.
I feel like we should
you
have
know?
an accountability show like
I
90
kind
days
of
from
want
now.
to do the right after, talk about how do you build the maintenance program.
The integration.
Yeah.
It's kind of like after you do mushrooms.
Right. Like I want that as well.
Yeah, that's how they measure the efficacy of mushrooms in the mystical experience. Remember I was telling you guys, like 2 months after, they check in with you. How is your experience 2 months after? What did you integrate?
You're 2 months, Pat. You're well. 2
Oh
months.
yeah.
You had your check-in.
Yeah.
Okay. Still missed
Are
it.
you
Yeah,
well
it was
integrated?
all a sham. I'm well integrated, and I redid the sort of mystical questionnaire, and it was the same. It wasn't any different 2 months later, which
That's
is
great.
crazy.
That's
But
good, right?
High efficacy.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. We should do that. That would be valuable. I would love to hear like what. So, what are some of the things you guys are adding? So, one for me, you guys know I'm a notorious night owl.
Night owl.
Eric knows this, and yeah, man, I'll be up at like 1 a.m. sending alfalfa texts.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. I'm like blown
See you
away.
at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and you're like up 3 hours later.
Saw
So
it at 4 in the morning the other day.
Yeah, you got up at 4 a.m, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Steven
I
was
just
up
like
early.
went to bed at like 8:30, and I was like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
tired, and then I just fell asleep, and I woke up at 4:30. Like, oh, that's weird.
So for me, it's always been late night, college, got all my shit done late. All my life, I've been like at odds with the hours that society has laid out for us. Like, just literally, if in a perfect world, I would go to bed at 2 and wake up at 10. Like that's my ideal
Yeah.
sort of schedule, maybe 1 to 9. And so that's my ideal. What I normally do is like just suffer, and it's like a roller coaster. Some mornings I get up early, some mornings I get up later, like 8:30, and I just have to suffer through the day when I wake up that late, right? What I did when I started this detox was, for some reason, this like lightning bolt hit me. It was like I remembered the book Early Rising by Benjamin Franklin. The full title is like Early to Rise Makes a Man Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. Everyone knows that famous saying. I've read the book now. This is the second time I'm reading the book. It's just a PDF that you can find on Google of the book. I can't even find the physical book anywhere. You can find the ebook online. I threw it on my Kindle. I've been reading it. It's obviously like written in Ben Franklin English from a long time ago. And it's actually a pretty, if you're a Christian, you would enjoy this book because he was very Christian, and there's a lot of religious, not even undertones, like just direct sort of messages. But the book is so good. The first time I read it, it changed my life. I started getting up at 5 a.m. every single day. And that lasted for like 9 months, I think. For some reason, there was a trigger event that caused me to fall off, and I've been off ever since. But this book is phenomenal. If you need motivation to like wake up early, and why, he goes through what it does for your body, what it does for your mind, what it does for your wallet and your business, what it does for your soul and yourself. Like every facet is affected by it. And yeah, I'm super pumped. I've been waking up early, and I love it. I'm going to keep waking up early.
It really is so optimal. I feel like I don't do anything productive after like 5 p.m.
I never do.
Like it's just, so if I go to bed at 2, it's just literally 7 hours of nonsense that I could have.
I think it's the big domino in life, because if you get ahead and at all, and if you can get a few hours ahead of other people before all the chaos starts to hit you, you can manage it and stay calm. I've noticed, like, you don't have to be so reactive. But if you get up late, or what you think is what most people think is early is late. Like according to him, he's like, it's 5 is like ideal. 6 is like you're cutting it. 7 is that's the
What time does he
absolute
go
end.
to bed?
He shares a bunch of different examples, but like 9 or 10, gets like 6 to 7 hours. He says like 7 hours is good. Like get your 7 hours and get to work. And just like Marcus Aurelius did in his, journal and meditations, he's like, what is this fucking thing about laying in bed all morning and it being all cozy and warm and all this stuff? He's like, you're alive. Like, get after it. Go get stuff done. Like, go build something. Go do something. And there's just so many examples like that
cozy.
that are so good. Exactly. It's like this desire we have. It's actually dopamine.
I was so cozy yesterday. It was so cold out.
Yeah.
I don't put the heat on ever. I refuse to.
Especially in this weather. Yeah, when it's cold and wet and rainy, it's the last thing you want to do. But he just talks so much about this like magical air that exists in the morning, and how it's like, from a health perspective, he goes into the science of the air in the morning and how it's better for you to breathe.
What?
Yes.
That
Yes.
sounds like
1700s.
like bro, like the 1700s.
that
bro
sounds
science.
like he probably thought like putting leeches on sick people was good too. Let's not forget.
Man. No,
the
it's a
doctors
funny
back
book.
then, didn't they have like the big like weird like parrot bill or
Yeah,
some
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
crazy shit? I don't know. I don't know if I want to take any science advice.
No, you don't trust the ancients.
He flew a kite in the like a thunderstorm.
Did he survive?
I mean, barely.
Okay, he's fine. So anyway, that's something I added. Did you
like
guys add anything to kind of wrap
I
some
guess
alfalfa?
the meditation just kind of out of necessity, because I was nervous about not being able to fall asleep, and that's so far. But it's only 3 nights in, so who knows if it'll continue.
I did the sunlight, early morning sunlight, and
That's a good one actually.
they meaning like the
Ben Franklin
experts,
started
the
that.
experts say that helps your circadian rhythms, and I've found that I'm sleeping amazing.
But
Like,
the sunlight needs to hit your eyes, right? Like no sunglasses out walking. You need to
no, I'm walking like early
Directly
morning.
at the sun.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's correlated. I think it's mostly just because I'm so fucking bored that like I just go to bed.
The one joy in his life.
That's good. I already told you my main thing was I've loved my little hot cocoa,
chocolate?
reishi hot cocoa nightcap, and it feels
Yeah.
good. It soothes my need for like routine, and at least placebo puts me asleep. So I'm a fan. But everything else, I've just substituted good stuff that I already have plenty of space and time to do, and I'm just
more
doing
of it?
those. Just doing more of all the things I should already be doing. Like I'm not bored.
You're being a normal human being.
Yeah, I have like stuff I should be doing that's more productive, that would be better for me as a human, that like compounds in life. Like, like 40 years from now, like I'm probably gonna be happy at like all the hours I've put into practicing music because that's compounded versus like I'm not gonna be sitting there like, man, I really wish I played that little game with the birds like an extra 75 hours. Like it's just
That's a fact.
just the way it is. So I'm good.
Well, it's a great place to wrap. I liked it. Steven, send me the dopamine matrix, please, because I might be turning into a monk.
Okay. Well, we
Thank you,
look
sir.
forward to
Post
you
in the
as
Discord.
the only monk on the pod.
All right. It'll be good.
All right.
Peace.
Later, guys.